Hello everyone and welcome back to my F1 22 custom Formula 2 season for round 6 in Austria. So heading into this round, first I'll cover off, usually this would be time for a My Team episode. I've been alternating between the two series, but I've decided at the moment I'm focusing on too many different things at once, and by the time I get around to recording the next My Team episode, for example, I've sort of forgotten where it's at, and then, same thing happens, I'll record the next F2 video, and I've been focusing on the My Team, and I'll forget where the F2 is at, so, yeah, instead of switching between the two, I'm going to finish off with the F2 season, because it is the shorter of the two, and then once this is done, I will go back to My Team, and, yeah, that should be a lot more logical in my head. But anyway, we set a clean lap in qualifying, so that should put us in a good stead. Bit of an awkward moment there, but no harm done. We'll see where we sit at the end of the session.
As we wind down from the excitement of qualifying, here's a look at your top three.
Viscal, Vishor and Jed Daruvula.
With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the feature race tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
And we do get pole for the round in Austria, which is much needed. We sit fourth in the standings at the moment, so yeah, we need to haul in some points in this round. Remember, Marino Sato in the championship lead at the moment, tied with Oscar Piastri, but Sato on countback is in front, so plenty to play out in this one. Sato not with a great qualifying, it has to be said. He's nowhere to be seen in the top 14, so he's got some work to do. But anyway, yeah, let's just get cracking with the rest of the race weekend. Sprint races up next. It's Ralph Boschung on reverse grid pole with Fittipaldi alongside.
Here we are amidst the dense forest and rolling hills of Spielberg in Austria, just 2 hours out of Vienna. It's an amazing destination for the race today, and we're about to get started. So Spielberg is one of the shortest laps on the F2 calendar, just 10 corners, 7 right and 3 left. Look out for the uphill braking zone into turn 3 that represents one of the better opportunities to overtake. Also turn 4 straight afterwards, and then the next one being all the way back round to turn 1. As usual, I'm joined by our good friend Davide Valsecchi as we soak up the dramatic scenery. Do you think the drama will continue on to the track today, Davide?
Ciao Alex, I think we can guarantee that. Austria has always been a track that encourages the driver to overtake and attack. But it's a low grip surface. The drivers out there today will have to make sure that the tiny mistakes don't end up hurting them later in the race.
Alright, so here we are on the grid then for the sprint race in Austria, starting down in 10th. And hard tyres will be in use for the duration of this one. A bit of cloud cover, but no weather within the range of the race. A little bit at the 90-minute mark, but the race should be well over by then. 5 red lights are out, and we are underway for the sprint race here in Austria. And we actually get a pretty decent start, trying to split the middle, go down the inside, gaining some places into the first corner, finding a fair bit of clear space for ourselves, and actually a pretty good start overall, and we're up a bunch of spots and into 6th place. So we've gained 4 positions into the first corner. We may be able to make it 5 as we go down the inside, maybe even 6. We have a little look at the Prema there of Oscar Piastri, one of our main championship rivals. Will be the main championship rival after this weekend, I am sure, with Sato down the order.
No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking
and no damage to the car, as we did get a little bit close to a few of our fellow drivers into the first few corners, but no harm done. We've had a clean start to the race, bit of a dodgy run through turn 4, but we get away with it, and we still maintain 5th position with Teo Porcher in pursuit. So let's hope we can maintain this and push on further forwards through the field as we go through. We do ideally want to finish ahead of Piastri to try and close down that margin and minimize the points gain that he gets on Sato as well in this series as well. This will be a good weekend for Prema with both of their drivers in contention. But anyway, we are continuing to put the pressure on Piastri as the laps wind on, and eventually we're going to make a bit of contact with him there into turn 9. A bit of an awkward moment, but no harm done really, and we can continue to push on.
No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
No damage done.
Leading our teammate by 8.3 seconds.
But yeah, we've really been piling the pressure on, and just a little nudge into turn 9. But yeah, thankfully we get away with it, and we are all good. So we continue to push on, and Piastri is also putting the pressure on the car ahead of him. It's David Beckman, and that's why it's been quite tricky for us to overtake Piastri, is because he has always got DRS from David Beckman. Now we're under pressure from Robert Schwartzman, who's right on our tail as we head up towards turn 3 once again. Robert Schwartzman really pushing, but we're able to hold him off as Piastri's through. It's around the outside of David Beckman as they run side by side up towards turn 4. We'll see who comes out on top here. It looks like it's going to be Piastri, and David Beckman slots into line behind, and Oscar Piastri takes his place on the podium as Beckman loses out and drops into 4th position. Liam Lawson retires from the race. Unfortunately didn't catch a replay of that one, but with Piastri now clear of Beckman, it has given us an opportunity to overtake the German driver. He's managed to stay within DRS range, but it will be no matter. It's a small mistake for him through the left-hander there, and that allows us through.
Nice work, mate. That brings you up a place.
So Piastri is up next. Let's see if we can get our fellow Aussie along the run to the first corner, and an okay exit out of the final corner versus Piastri. Let's see what we can do. Are we close enough for a dive? No, we're not. We're going to stay behind for a little bit longer. Maybe the run up to turn 3 will be our opportunity. Let's see. Sitting in the slipstream of Oscar Piastri up towards turn 3. Can we go for the move? We're gaining and gaining and gaining, and we have a look, but we just don't have the confidence at the moment. So we'll line it up out of turn 3, try and get a good exit, but it doesn't work for us, and Piastri is too far away here. We're not going to be close enough to go for the move, but eventually we will be. But we're also under pressure from Portier, who's having a look around the outside, and he's super late on the brakes, trying to go full send, but eventually he can't quite get that move done, and falls back into the clutches of Robert Schwartzman. David Beckman's really dropped out of this fight as we're continuing to put the pressure on Piastri, and hoping Portier can stay ahead of Robert Schwartzman after that little maneuver, and he does so, which is good for us. We eventually go for the dive down the inside of Piastri, and we get the move done. Piastri with the switchback though through turn 4, but he can't quite get the power down on the tighter inside line, and he maintains, or stays behind us. We maintain the position ahead. Now we're on the back of Ralph Boschung as we head towards the final couple of corners, and we don't go for the move here because there is a much lower risk opportunity just 2 corners away. So here we go then as we exit the final corner. We've got the DRS open versus Ralph Boschung, so we're looking behind, no threat there. So we'll see if we'll see what we can do up towards turn 3. We try to get a good exit here. We do. We have DRS on our side, so this should be an easy maneuver to pull off here. We go to the left hand side of Boschung, where we find ourselves on the grass though. We push Boschung all the way back to the right to give ourselves some room as we give him the space on the inside. We're out on the exit curb though, and we can't put the power down out there, and Boschung holds on. So a couple of little mistakes there in turns 2 and 3, and that's cost us the opportunity to take that position, and now we're not close enough to Ralph Boschung to go for the move into turn 4. Meanwhile, Fittipaldi has taken off in the lead. We're not catching him anytime soon, but we're struggling to get past Boschung, and he's defended this position well so far as we have a moment on the exit there, and I'm starting to think maybe our tyres are just starting to go off a little bit, because now we're actually right in the right under fire from Teo Porcher. But anyway, we continue to push on still through this race, and eventually we do start putting the pressure on Ralph Boschung once again as we go very deep though into turn 3. We get away with it. Portier tries to take the opportunity and doesn't find one, so he will maintain the position behind us still We still hold 3rd place, last position on the podium. So this is getting to be a very important phase of the race, and in fact the final phase of the race, because we're in the closing laps now and Pourchaire is through. So we really need to get this back right now, because we only have 1 lap to go, and Pourchaire himself is now going to be putting the pressure on Boschung. So this is going to have to be full send here into turn 3, down the inside of Pourchaire. We almost drill the back of Ralph Boschung. That was right on the limit, but we get away with it and get the move done. We get back onto the podium. We may be able to take P2 towards the final 2 corners. We have a look down the inside. Boschung gives us the room, but we can't make it through, and Boschung holds on as Enzo Fittipaldi takes the race win. We get a good exit out of the final corner. DRS for us as we head towards the line, side by side with Boschung, but the Swiss driver holds on. And unfortunately, we're not able to take P2. But a podium from 10th on the grid is certainly not bad, and I will take that any day of the week.
So another fantastic victory for Charouz today. Tell me, Davide, what was the key to this success?
It was down to one thing: consistent pace over everyone else out there on the track. We could spend a great deal of time talking about race and chariot strategy, what has occurred on the track, but at the end of the day, the difference here was down to simply being faster on track than everyone else. Amazing skill on show.
Looks like they're on their way out onto the podium now, and what a result this is, and a popular one with the crowd as well. Great stuff to see the Charouz team on top here today.
So, Enzo Fittipaldi wins for Charouz here in Austria. 2nd place goes to Ralph Boschung, and we finish 3rd.
And so, driver of the day then, Davide Valsecchi, who do you think you'd go for?
I think it's going to be Bernd Viscal. He's not always spectacular, but he quietly gets the job done. And that's the case today.
After all this drama, you would be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
Alrighty then, so that brings an end to the sprint race, the first half of the weekend, and I think we did pretty well out of that one. Let's have a little run through the rest of the points scorers. Obviously, we saw Fittipaldi, Boschung and myself on the podium. And then following us was Pourchaire, David Beckman, who managed to get past Robert Schwartzman once again towards the end of the race. So good work by him. And then it was Richard Verschoor, Jack Aitken, and Felipe. Oh, that was it. That's it for the point scorers. Felipe Drogovic and Dan Ticktum rounding out the top 10. Fastest lap did go to Robert Schwartzman, so he gets the bonus points for that. Oscar Piastri did not finish in the top group at all. He's not in top 14, so I don't know what happened to him, but he obviously encountered some kind of issues in the later stages of the race. But yeah, unfortunately I don't know what they were. Maybe he got a bit of damage at fighting away. But anyway, in terms of the Drivers' Championship, we do resume the lead of that one, and we lead by just 3 points over both Piastri and Sato, who holds in 2nd place. So it's 1st and 2nd for us in the championship now. Jane Deruvala still sits in 4th position, and he's still 5 points away. 9 points adrift is Richard Verschoor, so really not a lot covering the top 5 and even top 6 with Robert Schwartzman just 11 points away, and he was probably or him and Verschoor were the only ones to score points out of all of us in this race. So yeah, it's really closing up in the championship fight, so that's very much benefited us. But in terms of the championship, the team's championship rather, we lead the way in that one. We maintain 1st position. In fact, we extend our margin to 11 points, so things are looking good there. Anyway, we are almost running out of time in the highlights reel, so it is time to move on to the feature race, the big one where 25 points are scored for the race victory. So we start on pole we don't have a better opportunity for points this weekend, so let's make the most of it.
It's race day here at Spielberg, and the drivers are making their final preparations down on the grid before lights out. Look around, it's a spectacular setting, and I'm sure today's race will do it justice. Spielberg is a very short lap, one of the shortest we'll see in this Formula 2 championship. 7 rights and 3 lefts make up the 10 corners of the circuit. The left-hand kink of turn 2, leading into the uphill braking of turn 3, represents another overtake hotspot. We are nearly ready for the start of today's race, but in the meantime, let's take a look at the grid. An immense lap from Bent Viscal yesterday puts him in pole position, and it's Richard Verschoor in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have De Ruyveler, Schwartzman, Jack Aitken and Pourchaire, Beckman, Piastri, Fittipaldi, Ralph Boschung, Ticktum, Phipps, Liam Lawson and Drugovic, Samaya, Nissani, Lundgaard and Marino Sato, Armstrong, Zendelli, Joe and Alessio Deleda rounds off the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Alright, so here we are on the grid then for the feature race here in Austria. Strategy will be soft tyres to the hard, so a step between the compounds here. But anyway, we go to the 5 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go for the feature race here in Austria from pole position, and it is a good start off the grid, and we get a great launch towards the first corner. We'll maintain first place through turn 1, and that is the perfect start to our feature race here. We're going to lead the way up towards turn 3 for the first time. Behind us, Richard Verschoor maintains second position ahead of De Ruyveler, Schwartzman and Aitken, so no change in the top 5. It was actually a very good qualifying from Aitken in the HWA Race Lab car there. They have been struggling a little bit, but Jack Aitken doing a good job in qualifying here. He has a good chance of doing something special for them. But anyway, as we have navigated our way through the first sector successfully, bit of an awkward moment in turn 4 for us, running a little deep, but we get away with it and we still maintain first place. So we are in prime position, and it's not often I find myself leading a race off the start, so to be honest, this does feel a little bit unusual to have the entire field behind and empty space in front. We move on a few laps later, and we've just been minding our own business in this race so far. But as we continue to push on, a little bit wide there, and round we go, round and around. We do point it in the right direction again and get moving. We've been rear-ended though, and into the wall we go.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
And we are somehow not out of the race, but I don't know what happened there. Someone clearly was unsighted and didn't see us. We go on board with it. It was Richard Verschoor, a fellow Dutchman, and he has punted us right into the wall. As we were recovering from that spin. To be fair, we were kind of moving across the racing line, but there's an inevitable moment as the racing line crosses from right to left there. You know, we have to cross it or join it at some point. So yeah, that's a really frustrating one. He just wasn't able to react in time. He's out of the race. We've got damage to the side pods and the front wing. Somehow no damage to the diffuser, even though we've got absolutely rear-ended there. But we're still in the race. I don't know how, but we are still in the race. And that is the most important thing. So you'll notice we did not opt to make a pit stop because the pit window wasn't open yet. So I'm going to wait a little bit. But the problem was, it's still not time, and we're at the end of lap 5 now. The pit window still isn't open yet, but there is a point where we just have to do it, and what I'm doing now is clearing the penalty. We did get a penalty for that incident, so I just want to get rid of that. And if I waited another lap, I was worried that the race would get back underway and we wouldn't get any advantage from pitting under the safety car at all. So I'm hoping that this will work out faster for us, and we won't have to carry a set of racing hard tyres to the end, which is about 35 laps away, because I'm a little bit worried that the tyres actually won't last that long or won't be fast. So I'm going to go with the alternative of running these soft tyres we're on now as long as we possibly can.
Okay, gap ahead is 29.2 seconds. Their tyres are 6 laps old. We think they've got one more stop. Your last lap time was a 1 minute 32.2.
And unfortunately though, the field kind of left without us. We didn't have time to catch up to the safety car train, so now we're 30 seconds behind the field. So either way, I think we were pretty much screwed in this one, and I don't really know if there's a way out of the hole we've dug ourselves into. But
Okay, Deruvala's ahead of you now.
Deruvala making
Okay,
an early stop.
old softs. We think they've got one more stop.
So not sure what the deal is there. Doesn't look like they're doing a front wing change on the Carlin, so that is a scheduled stop for Deruvala, but I do not know the reason why. Eventually though, we do see some other cars in this race, but these are cars that have made their pit stops, and somehow we've managed to find ourselves behind Piastri. So no matter what happens in our races, we do manage to find each other on track, although we are on wildly different strategies. We still need to pit again, and he is on fresher tyres. And this is indeed our box lap, but I think I will stretch this stint a little bit longer just to build up a tyre advantage, and if there is a second safety car, it will definitely help us. Remember, we've also got some damage to the side pods and also damage to the floor, which I think I induced myself running over some curbs. So yeah, the car is not in great shape, and we are just relying on the slipstream and DRS from Oscar Piastri to pull us along basically and help us out. So yeah, that is basically what we are doing at the moment, as there is a battle up ahead. Robert Schwartzman going for the dive and making a bit of contact there, and I think that may have damaged the front wing of the Prema car there, as we're under pressure now from Dan Ticktum, as he's really pushing us towards the right-handed turn 4, but we hold him off, as we did have the DRS help there. So yeah, we'll go on board now with Robert Schwartzman and see what he was doing. He was defending hard from his teammate Piastri. Lock up there from Fittipaldi, and Schwartzman just getting a bit eager on the inside, trying to take the advantage. And now he is struggling because Piastri is down the inside into turn 9, and Piastri is through Robert Schwartzman down a spot, and we will probably gain the spot on Schwartzman very soon. We're very, very cautious into that final corner, because I was expecting Robert Schwartzman to be quite slow. In the end, he wasn't that slow, and Dan Ticktum was very close to running into the back of us there. But anyway, we will eventually make the move on Robert Schwartzman as we go around the outside into turn 4. We get the job done on the Russian, and we move ourselves ahead of him. And yeah, he's definitely in struggle town at the moment. So we move. Eventually, we do need to make our pit stop. We run out of opportunities. There's no safety car coming our way, clearly, and we just need to make this pit stop and get some benefit from new tyres towards the end of the race. There will be a significant tyre margin for us in terms of extra grip, and I'm hoping that can make up for the bit of damage we have on the car. That is why I was extending that stint so long and sitting in the DRS, because that allowed us, even with the damage and the old tyres, to run the same lap times as everyone else. So I'm hoping this strategy pays dividends for us, and we can now match the rest of the field for pace. So we continue on, and we got Jane Deruvala in front of us now. We're going to go for the move down the inside into turn 9, and we get the job done on him. Next up is Alessio Deleda, as we head around the final corner. Deleda already moving across a little bit to defend towards the first corner. Are we going to go for the move on Deleda? And we will down the inside, and we get that one done nice and easy. So we do have plenty of pace, so hopefully we can use it. Our next target is Yuri Vips, so we'll see if we can chase him down. The gap isn't that big. We are well within DRS range as we head into the braking zone of turn 3, so that means we will have all the assistance we need towards turn 4 to try and go for the lunge. So here we go in the slipstream of Yuri Vips, the Estonian driver in the high-tech. Let's see what we can do. We're going to go for the lunge from a long way back down the inside into turn 4. We go too deep. Yuri Vips with the switchback as we've got 2 wheels on the grass. Vips gives us a bit of room last minute, gets the shake on the exit, but he gets back ahead. We're in the slipstream though, back down the inside into the left-hander, and we get the move done on Yuri Vips, and we move ourselves ahead and up into 18th position. Next up is Marcus Armstrong. We're going to go for the move down the inside, and a little bit borderline there, but we get the move done to Marcus Armstrong and up into 17th position. So good progress being made, and we are still a fair way from the points, but we are passing cars very quickly. Joe Guanyu is up next. We get past him on the exit of the final corner and make that move stick. We're up into 16th place. So making absolutely brilliant progress through the field at the moment. Unfortunately, one driver not making progress is Marino Sato. He retires from the race with a mechanical failure, so our teammate will not score anything from this one, so that is unfortunate. The next car up ahead of us is Guilherme Samaya, and he has not had a great time this race in the Charouz car. We get past him into turn 9 and get the job done there. Unfortunately, the rest of this race is recorded on the replay cameras because I just forgot to hit the record button after the last clip ended, so that's unfortunate. But anyway, we have replay cameras from here on out. We've got Larim Zendelli up ahead next, so let's see what we can do about the young German driver in the MP Motorsports car. We're close behind him, but we're not close enough to really do anything into the pair of left-handers in the middle sector, so we'll have to try something in the final few corners. That will be the target. We need to get a good exit off of this one. We are very close to Larim Zandelli, going for that better exit, and we're alongside already as we try and swing it round the outside of the slight right-hander, and we get through on Larim Zandelli and make that position stick. And now it is Roy Nassani up ahead of us next with a bit of a gap ahead of him. So if we can get past Nassani, that might be the ceiling of what we can do, because we don't have a ton of time left. But anyway, as we run towards the first corner, we go for the move down the inside of Roy Nassani, and we get the job done, and I think move ourselves up into about 12th place now. So yeah, we're close to the points, but just not quite close enough. As up ahead, Jack Aitken has come through the field in this one, and from 5th on the grid, Jack Aitken wins the feature race here in Austria. Great drive from Jack Aitken, bringing home victory for the HWA Race Lab team. That is brilliant. But anyway, as we now come around the final few corners, it is going to be P12 for us as we exit turn 10. For the final time, we ran out of fuel across the line, but it won't affect our finishing position. It will still remain as P12, unfortunately. So, yeah. Either way, no points. Yeah, a bit of a frustrating end, but what are you going to do? The race went wrong with the spin, and that was my fault. Just, lost concentration for a moment. And, yeah, Richard Verschoor, for whatever reason, couldn't avoid it, and that was it. So yeah, that was kind of game over from that point on. But anyway, these things happen, I guess. So what effect has this had on the championship? First, let's have a run through the finishes in the points. So obviously we just saw that Jack Aitken won the race. Second place was David Beckman. Third was Enzo Fittipaldi. Oscar Piastri finished in 4th position with Felipe Dragovic in 5th. Dan Ticktum in 6th. Robert Schwartzman 7th, followed by Teo Porcher, Liam Lawson and Ralph Boschung rounding out the top 10. The fastest lap going to Jack Aitken, so he gets the bonus points for that. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, Oscar Piastri shoots himself into the lead with Jack Aitken taking 2nd position. We sit 3rd with Marino Sato 4th and Jane Deruvala 5th. Robert Schwartzman in 6th position. And the points covering the top 6 still not plenty. It is 14 points and only 16 points back to Enzo Fittipaldi, 18 points back to Richard Verschoor. So yeah, it is all very, very close. Those are the main contenders. 8 drivers in contention for the championship, I would say, at this stage, in hot contention, let's say, because even, you know, the next driver is only 34 behind, which is still not out of the question. But anyway, in terms of the Constructors' Championship, we drop into second position. Prema take the lead by 7 points ahead of us. Carlin sit in third position, 42 points adrift, so yeah, they're kind of there, but not really, if that makes sense. They could be doing a little better, I suppose. They'll need to do a little better if they want to catch up. But anyway, yeah, other than that though, that is all there is to cover for this one. Unfortunate that we couldn't make the most of that pole position. That was quite a frustrating moment, that spin just costing us there, but anyway. So yeah, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. I really do appreciate it. Feel free to give me some feedback in the comments as always. Very much appreciated. But other than that, I will see you next time. Goodbye.